The annual Directors Guild Awards were handed out this weekend, with Alejandro Iñárritu taking home the top prize for his Leonardo DiCaprio film The Revenant. This is the second year in a row Iñárritu has won the award, taking it last year with his film Birdman. Schnapp, did the Directors Guild get it right by giving it to Alejandro G. Iñárritu again?
No, they did not. And I'm in the Directors Guild, and I voted for Mad Max. I voted for Mad Max Fury Road because I think it edged out The Revenant. You know, I think it's a better film as far as being directed. It's incredibly cinematic. It's a visual masterpiece. I think The Revenant, like I've said before, it's a good film. The first 40 minutes is incredible. And for myself personally, it falls off. I think Leo deserves to win the Oscar for Best Performance, but as far as a film, it is not the best film of the year by far. And just because Mad Max is a genre picture, I think it's got that, you know, oh, well, it's not in the same classification. And I beg to differ. I think George Miller destroyed it as an incredible, amazing visual masterpiece. Mad Max Fury Road is my personal favorite film of the year still, and I'm sorry that it didn't win Best Picture, Best Director in the DGA. But look, you know, that's everyone voted, so that's what they wanted.
Well, despite the fact that I'm not in the Directors Guild, despite 1989's The Legend of Dark Cove that I made when I was a little kid, I would have been staying up all night wrestling between The Revenant and Mad Max Fury Road for who gets Best Director. So I know you have very strong feelings about Mad Max. I think either one of these guys, I would not be disappointed either way. I might have been a little bit happier for George Miller because of the achievement that he did. I think resurrecting that franchise was such a tough work. But then you also look at all the stuff that The Revenant production would go through just because of the decision to use virtually all natural lighting and shooting in the elements. It just looked like such a feat of strength compared to something that maybe was a little more artistically challenging in Mad Max. But like either one of those two I would have been happy with, so I can't complain too much.
I think it was a mistake to give it to Alejandro, who deserved it very much, I think, last year. But I personally would put him ahead of George Miller this year. Like when you look at I always say, personally, my opinion is that the number one responsibility of the directors is to get the best performance out of their actors that they can. And when you look at what Leonardo DiCaprio did in that movie, when you look at what Tom Hardy did in that movie, then you look at the way it was shot with natural light and the cinematic experience of it all, the way it all flowed together. I liked it quite a bit, but I still think McCarthy deserved it for Spotlight. I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. That is a movie that could have so easily lost the audience in how many moving pieces there were in it. And let me say, I think McKay lost a little bit of the audience in The Big Short. Sure. Like I've talked to a lot of people that just weren't able to keep up with all the different terminologies and all the moving parts in it. And I don't know a lot of directors that could have made a lot of sense. I mean, he did a great job with that movie, absolutely. But what McCarthy did with Spotlight and all the performances that he got out of that incredible ensemble at the same time, I just felt it kind of would have gone there. But that is a great example of how great the pedigree is this year. When we got all of us up here saying, I think Miller, I think Iñárritu, I think I mean, that's just a great example of how great of a year it was for some fantastic directorial efforts this year. Anyway, if you had to pick though, who wins? Who do you think should have won the DGA this year? Who do you think should win the Oscar?
For Oscar, it's really tough because Adam McKay is a really interesting choice because you didn't see him on a lot of lists up until that point when he did get he got a best nomination for director. You know, it's put that sense in some sort of words
and then
that makes sense to you.
But he won the producers award. That's
Yeah. And so when he starts to become a front runner, I think that some people hung in with The Big Short and other people, you're right, bailed early, but the people who did hang in there vote for the Oscars. So that's an interesting dark horse in this race. I still think it's either going to be I still think Iñárritu has the edge. This gives him a little bit more pull, but I think he had that anyway. And it's interesting to look at Mad Max and The Revenant, two films that might be lighter on story than something like The Big Short or The Martian or Spotlight. But so maybe we're putting more of a premium on, like you said, the performance you get out of the actors you have. And maybe the tiebreaker will be, what was the tougher challenge? Was it shooting in the desert with a bunch of car chases, or was it shooting in the woods in natural light with a huge giant bear attacking Leonardo DiCaprio?
I think the tiebreaker would be best use of bear.
Right.
Best use of bear will be the tiebreaker.
And to his credit, in that vein, Cam Newton did a great Leonardo DiCaprio impression yesterday.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.